Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Fishin' Tales with me, Bob, on the Fishin' with the Bobber YouTube channel. And tonight we have a special guest. You know him as the host of BTL every day at 8:30 in the morning, Monday through Thursday, Matt Pangrac. Matt, appreciate you being on, spending a few moments with us. And we know you're busy, so thank you for joining us.
Oh, I always got time to talk about fishing.
Yes. All right. And that's what this series is about, is talking about fishing. To remind you at home, we are telling a fishing tale, a fishing story. So we basically want you to take someone fishing. It doesn't have to be a kid, but it is great if it is a kid. But it might be your neighbor that you can form a connection with, and you take them to the pond in your neighborhood. There is a pond within a couple miles of just about everybody. Take them fishing. It doesn't have to be in a big fancy boat. Get them out there. And guess what? I have never seen anyone grumpy, frumpy, and bummed out. And they're reeling in that fish. I mean, everything goes to the side, and it is pure bliss and joy when you're cranking in a fish, big or small. And so share this excitement with someone near you. Matt, we're going to pass it over to you. You are the pro here. It's a story, funny, big fish, near and dear to your heart, something crazy that happened, because stuff happens when you go fishing. But really, we're going to pass it over to you, and I'm going to try to not talk anymore.
All right. So when I was given this task to tell a fishing story, I didn't really know how it was going to fit in, but I have one that's been near and dear to my heart, and it's 2026, and I'm in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and I have pieces of what happened in early 2002 that are in the studio. I have pieces of what happened in the same story that are in my living room. They've been with me through junior hockey, through college, through 8 different moves, all of it. And it's still near and dear to my heart. It was with the Assumption Bass Club in Central Illinois, 2002. And back then, I was 17 years old, and I'd been fishing with them since I was 14 years old. They let me join the club early. They didn't say anything. I annoyed the hell out of these guys in the back of the boat, but they're a bunch of hardworking, blue-collar guys who got together to drink a few beers, eat some potted meat, do some fish fries, fish 8 or 9 club tournaments a year. And that's really how I learned about bass fishing and to love bass fishing. These guys didn't have to have anything to do with me, and they took me under their wing, and they taught me how to fish. Well, what would happen in these tournaments is they would have all the boaters line up on one side at 5 in the morning, and then all the co-anglers line up on the other side. And there were never as many co-anglers as there were boaters. So, the boaters were sitting there going, oh, I hope I don't draw a co-angler. But here I am, I'm 17, got my 7 or 8 rods. All these guys knew, there was some infamous stories about guys who had drawn me as a youngster before I'd kind of learned the ropes. So we're on Lake Taylorville, and Taylorville back in 2002 had a coalition of a couple guys that got together and had a little fish hatchery with pure northerns. They brought some Florida stuff in there, and we're talking Central Illinois, where you're fishing Shelbyville, you're fishing Wren, you're fishing lakes where if you catch a limit, you're cashing a check. A 3-pounder is a big one. But this little Lake Taylorville was the only place on the schedule you could catch a 20-pound bag. And you could catch a lot of 20-pound bags. It was like this little anomaly. Oh, wow. And so I was jacked up to go to Lake Taylorville to fish it because I knew we had a shot at a big one. Well, I draw Kenny Hartman. And Kenny Hartman smoked about 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day. He wore kind of like a explorer's hat. He was about 70 years old, 65 at the time, probably. Super nice guy. Talked like this when he had it. Yeah. Owned about 4 bait casters. Every single bait caster had a True Turn hook, a black grape red glitter 6-inch Producto paddle tail worm, Stren 20-pound test, high vis gold, and the Abu 5600s with the little button on the side that you had to push. He changed his line about once every 5 years. So when you drew Kenny, you knew you were slow worming all day. Mm-hmm. And, back then I was big in reading the magazines and learning about all this stuff. So I had all my crankbaits and my spinner baits, and it was April of 2002. So I'm in the back of Kenny Hartman's boat, Taylorville. It's cold. And we're going down a bank, and I pull out a Bandit 200 in a crawfish pattern, orange belly. And I make a cast and I hook a fish. And I said, Kenny, I got one. And I was pumped because it was a couple hours into the day and it was our first bite that we had that day. And this was right when the Bandit 200s had come out and they had those triple grips on the back, the pair hooks on it. And I'll never forget this. Out of the muddy water in central Illinois, mind you, where a 3-pounder is a big one. This fish comes up and it is the biggest fish I have ever seen. It is the biggest fish he has ever seen. It is the biggest fish. As far as I knew, it could be a state record. And it jumps, and I lost it. I was weak in the knees. I was on the bottom, and Kenny said, young man. That's how he said it. He said, young man. He said, take it easy. That is the biggest fish I've ever seen in my life. So we fight this thing. It gets in the net. Now,
no pressure, right?
He had a vintage 1993 Ranger. And when this fish hits the net, I jump up on the front deck where he lands it, and I snap his windshield on his console off in my hand, which I didn't know at the time. He never said anything. Couldn't get it. It was 10 years old. This was before you could just go online and get anything like that. So I've got it. Oh, we're looking at this fish. It's got one little hook in it, and we don't have a scale. And he's like, that's a 10-pound bass. And I'm like, there's no way. So he didn't have a scale. So we put the thing in the live well, and I'm shaking. Like, I can't fish. He can't fish. And we proceed to drive around Lake Taylorville in the tournament to as many other boats as we can find and just roll up. We roll up on Darren Gates. Darren, look at this sucker. And we pull, oh my God. Drive up to Todd. Todd, look at this sucker. Drive up to Harold. Harold, look at this sucker. So word gets around. Come back in. It turns out it is a 9.22 pound largemouth. It's a lake record for Taylorville. It's the biggest fish in the history of the club, and I win the tournament, so I got the traveling trophy. It was my first kind of club tournament win. Everyone was super cool about it, so I got this big picture with it. It had my picture in the paper and all that. It was the first largemouth replica that I had. So Charlie, who did all the mounts then, he's passed away 10 years ago, but I've got that mount that's traveled with me all around the country from Illinois to Ohio to Iowa to Oklahoma to Tulsa, back to Norman, now to Shawnee. It's still in the living room, but this was the coolest thing. So the year at the end, you had like the year-end Christmas party, right, where everyone got together. They did something special for me. Guys, it's in my studio right here. I see it every single day. It is the heaviest, biggest fish trophy, and this thing is from the 1970s, and one of the dudes won it, and I promise you his wife was like, get that stupid fish trophy out. So what they did was they pried off the original thing, and they made a plaque on it that said Assumption Bass Club 2002, Matt Pangrac, big bass, 9.22 pounds, big stringer, 15.18 pounds. And that is the biggest and most important trophy that I've ever won. And I've carted this thing around the entire country with me. Kenny, unfortunately, a number of years ago, passed away due to cancer. He was one of those dudes who was rough and tumble on the outside, a great individual. They have the Kenny Hartman Invitational still every year for the Assumption Bass Club. But when you told me to tell a story and then kind of put the background behind it, that is a perfect example of a big fish combined with taking a kid fishing, combined with doing the right thing. And if everybody could have that experience, I think that one fish that day in the boat with Kenny is a big reason why I'm still hooked on it.
Oh, man.
25 years later.
And for him to share the excitement and just forget about the tournament.
Yeah. And the
let's go show everybody.
And the fact that he zeroed and I caught 15 pounds. Like, I mean, man. It would have been easy for him to be like, you broke my windshield. You caught the fish behind me. I just remember like halfway through that day, I caught another like 5-pounder. Right. So I had like a squeaker, like a 5-pounder, a 9-pounder, and a 2-pounder. And I remember he did not have a crankbait in the boat. And I said, Kenny, I've got a lot of crankbaits because I brought like 3 or 4 tackle boxes with me at that time. And so he tied one on. He didn't have anything to cast it on. He had 20-pound high vis cold strand on a flip stick on everything. So his crankbait would go zoop, about 10 feet out. You'd get a couple wiggles and it would be back in. But there you go. There's my best fish story.
Yes, indeed. That is awesome, folks. And that's exactly what we want you to do, is take somebody fishing and share a moment just like that. Promise you, once they get one fishing story like that, they're going to want to go back out there and get another one, maybe even on their own, and they might bring someone else. So, Matt, we appreciate you sharing your time and that story. That's an amazing story. I can't wait for folks to hear it and see that trophy that you won. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for the invite.
We'll see y'all next time on Fishing Tales. Thanks for watching.